My name is Margot Fass, and 7 years ago, well, it started really 10 years ago when I learned about Save the Frogs and got more and more interested and more confident about talking to Kerry because he was so frightening in the beginning. I teased him about that. But I finally met him a few years ago in Costa Rica, and and then he and Powell came up and stayed with us, saw a frog house, but he's been wonderfully supportive for all these years. He's helped us so much, and he never tells me what to do, but somehow I managed to fall into this little trap of doing something significant for frogs. And this year is what we really did. We've had little events up until now, but in January of last year, I realized that we needed to do something in the Pittsford Arboretum, which has been neglected for many years. Although Rob Corby, the former mayor, has been doing his best to renovate it, put in native trees. So it's called an Arboretum and Wildlife Sanctuary. Well, a year ago in April, um, uh, is it Chelsea?
Kathleen,
Kathleen Osagi, yes.
can we go back? Let's before we get to that. First, you have an organization, true,
Mhm.
and it's called
A Frog House.
A Frog House. All right, everyone out there, afroghouse.org. And you've been involved with Save the Frog since 2010 or so. Is that right?
About 10 years, I think,
And
because
you're a,
no, maybe longer, but
it's
this
longer
will
than
be the
10.
17th annual Frog Save the
You're a
Frogs.
Save the Frogs.
97th annual Save the Frogs Day.
You're a Save the Frogs 90-day challenge graduate. Is that true?
That is true.
All right, and a long time Save the Frogs member, Save the Frogs artist, Save the Frogs volunteer and donor and moral supporter. And you were inspired to start your own organization, and that's A Frog House. Everyone out there, go check out afroghouse.org, and they're on social media. You can go find them. So you've been talking about building or restoring wetlands in the Arboretum for 5+ years. So tell us about the history. I think it's been that long. Tell us about, no, just a few years?
No, it just came to me in January of last year. Gee,
Oh, wait,
uh,
you were not talking about doing things in the Arboretum a long time ago?
doing things in the Arboretum,
Okay. Well, why don't you
but
tell us about
building
your Arboretum plans and difficulties or challenges and obstacles and how they were overcome, and bring us up to what just took place, and
okay,
including Kathleen helping you out.
so in January, I thought, ding, this is a perfect place to build vernal ponds. And I called Kathleen Osagi, who is a member of Save the Frogs and has worked a lot with Tom Biebighauser, who is a wetland expert and restoration. He has an organization called Wetland Restoration and Training. And she said, call Tom. So I had enough money to bring him up for a consultation, and he did a little presentation to the Pittsford Village Hall. And lo and behold, the mayor liked the idea. He took three groups around and he tested the soil here and there. He did a lot of teaching. He's such a gentle, wonderful, generous soul. And so he proposed that there be three vernal ponds, and he indicated exactly where they should go. One in a lower part of the area, and two up in a meadow, a little higher up, each of different depths, so they accommodate for different kinds of weather. That was in April of last year, and each pond cost $8,000. So the board approved the project pending our being able to raise $24,000, or as many ponds as I was able to raise the money for. And so I did that, and Tom had already designed the plan, presented it again in October to listeners. We had, this is for you, Kerry. We had 70 people sign up to build our vernal ponds. 70. And we had about 30 people each day. So one of the tasks in building a vernal pond is to put out this big, very eco-friendly liner, and it's heavy. So he needed at least 10 people, and he was afraid he'd have to do it all by himself. But we had enough people, and they were of all ages, little kids and grandmothers and great grandmothers and grandfathers, and lots of people that just kind of stumbled across it with our publicity. We had a young person with Ehlers-Danlos who was very brave, just a tiny little thing, but was there every single day to help out. Scouts came by, helped out. It was just the most exciting time. And by the time, by 11 o'clock yesterday morning, we had dug, raked, taken out the rocks, lined, then put some ground back in, raked again, and seeded and spread straw. And one of the things that we did was put old wood, fallen trees, logs, and things like that for habitat. And it was all done at 11 o'clock yesterday morning. And a
Good.
beautiful day.
So you got three ponds built?
What? 3 ponds built.
Okay.
Michael Horton and Kelly Gear from Save the Frogs. So Michael is on the board at Save the Frog. He came up with his wife Kelly, and they're staying here at my house. So Matthew is my musician son and a very funny guy. So he came up too, and we're all staying here. And Michael and Kelly are very beat, so I think they're still sleeping.
So you got some good exercise out there building wetlands?
I just stood around and talked to people. But that was important because we made some wonderful contacts for future projects. Just all kinds of excitement and energy coming up. So
Good.
It was so fun. It was great. We had a great Save the Frogs table. We had a great Froghouse table. It was just very
excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you for all your help.
Your event was partially funded by a Save the Frogs Day grant. So I'm curious, we met about a month or two ago, and we talked about flyers and posters and things that were printed, how to go with getting those printed, and did the usage of them, did it all go as expected, or what was your experience with that?
Well, I think that a lot of flyers disappeared from the towpath because we're in a great location.
Disappeared in a good way. People picking them up.
Yes, and I didn't ask every person how they found out about it, but some people did find out about it by flyers. It's not a cost-effective way of doing things. I appreciated the assistance from Save the Frogs a lot. Just that just was a lot of good support. But people took flyers and about banning atrazine and about threats to frogs, and so I think that Save the Frogs was very generous in sending some shirts, and we were awarding them to the people who had been there. Yes, there, that very shirt. It doesn't have the top frog because that's a beautiful necklace that was made in Colombia and designed by Paola, I think, right? Was it designed by Paola? You're muted. Can't hear you.
This was created by an indigenous woman that we met. She was out selling art in the street, and we said, hey, can you make some frogs for Save the Frogs? So we had these up on the site for a while. They sold out kind of fast. We currently have some Miyuki frogs, another style of frog. We've got various frog jewelry up there, so people go check out savethefrogs.com/shop. And for all of you who can't buy a shirt or get one shipped because maybe you're in another part of the world, as I mentioned earlier, now in Save the Frogs Academy, you can click the button at the top. It says printables, and we have printable files for shirts and stickers and flyers. And we'll have posters soon, so you can download the shirt file for about 5 different shirts that we have sold in the past and print them on your own if you want to do that. All right, back to you, Margot. I'm curious, you fundraised, I assume you got the money raised a significant amount. And was that all from individuals, or were other organizations helping out? Did the government help out at all, or what happened there?
Very funny. The government did not help out. This is our civic protest against the destruction of wetlands.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, about an hour ago, before you were on here, we were talking about the Taita Hills in Kenya, and I said, hey, maybe you make friends with the government, and maybe they'll let you use their land. So they won't necessarily contribute all their resources, but sometimes the best we can do is just make use of that public land for how we want it to be. But what else?
The local government has been wonderful.
Yeah.
She's been very, very supportive. She's excited about it. And she came by several times, our current mayor, and they did.
Mayor attended your event?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
And we still have a ribbon cutting to do, but one of the things that she did was with the superintendent of the DPW. They worked with the town of Pittsford and got the excavator. So that was extremely helpful.
You had a donated excavator? Okay, well, that's good.
They didn't give us the excavator, but
I mean, you had an operator and the machinery. That's good, because from my experience, that's $1,600 a day. And that was a long time ago. It could be even more these days.
So that was an awesome contribution. It pays to be nice to people.
Oh, it does indeed. And yes, indeed. I think when we're saving frogs, at least not at our computer, like I'm usually just at my computer, and I guess you have to be, socially competent in your email communications and social communications. But when we get out there with people, it certainly helps to be really friendly and talkative and get people on board, and know how, even sometimes like this morning when I was speaking to a few hundred kids, know how to control a massive auditorium of wild children. So yes, there's many skills that we need as frog savers. And Margot, you got the whole collection there, a lot of them, enough to get a lot done.
Well, one of the best parts of it, because mainly I wasn't involved except for talking to people and making new friends, but we had a time change on Sunday from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock as Tom wanted to get on the road. But so a group of 5 kids came by, and they were Cub Scouts and needed to earn a couple of hours of work, but they were late. And it worked out very nicely, because after you put down the liners, the 3 layers of liners, it gets trimmed off. And that's the biggest expense of the whole project. And so it was in a big pile, and the leaders and the Cub Scouts helped to fold them all up. I carted them off to my house, where I'm going to try to make little pond packages for people. So it's very
meaning you've got remaining liner and geotextile material?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Very good.
So if we can get pieces of at least 7 feet square, we can clean them up and package them up and have a little package for people to build vernal ponds in their own backyard, because
Good.
it's very, very simple. And we need more little wetlands for breeding purposes all over this land. So the Cub Scouts had a great old time, and one of the adults said, "Oh, they're too little; they won't be able to do that." There they were, carrying it and pulling it and folding it and picking up roly-poly beetles and having a great old time. So, and another great thing was a woman who had come to the birthday party last year had brought 5 kids, and she drives a bus, but she has what she calls Katie's Camp, and the kids all go over and hang out at her house, and they want to do community projects. And one thing we want to do is help to help people to stop using chemicals on their lawn. So Bonnie Abrams is my assistant, and she composes songs. She composed a great song about vernal ponds, which she sang yesterday at our closing, what a vernal pond is. But she's going to work with the kids, and they're all going to get ukuleles because they all play music, and learn the song, and then be neighborhood minstrels that go around and get people locally to stop using chemicals on their lawn. So they are going to be our first official A Frog House group, probably called Katie's Camp, and so I can be a fiscal sponsor for them, and I'm really thrilled about that.
All right, excellent. Thank you for all the updates. Congratulations. Happy Save the Frogs Day. And
Michael and
yeah.
And Kelly get up. I'll have them.
Okay, yeah. Send them over. We've also got Freddie Miller on the line. Freddie, if you want to say something, I'm going to take a guess and say you were at the event. I don't know if that's true.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, happy Save the Frogs Day.
Yeah, that's great. Great to be here. Great to see you. Unfortunately, I was not able to make the event. I had like a 50th reunion that I felt I was compelled to attend. So,
okay.
But it's something that I want to do next year.
All right, good. You've attended various Save the Frogs wetland events. Can you just tell people what that's like?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I had such a great time, and I did the at Lake Tahoe a few years ago. There was an event to save the California red-legged frog, and I think we built like 18 vernal ponds there. And my understanding is that they have filled up during the spring, and that the frogs are inhabiting some of those ponds. Is that correct, Kerry?
That is true, yes.
Yeah, and that is really, really exciting. And then also in Illinois, I went out there and was helping the
Illinois chorus frogs.
The chorus frogs, that's right. And so we built 2 ponds there. And I don't have an update on whether the chorus frogs have been seen in those ponds. Do you, Kerry?
I do have an update. I don't think the chorus frogs have arrived yet. Because I write in every, say, 6 or 8 months and find out, and I got an update recently. There's other species of interest there. I can't remember if I put up that most recent update, but I will. And I do, like on this Tahoe page, I do occasionally go onto the page and put in updates. This is a really big web page, and I know I was in there, we'll say, after some recent fires. Maybe these photos are recent, May 2024. Hey, a year ago recent. But everyone out there, I'm going to send in, well, get you some photos from our Illinois wetland. This was Save the Frogs Day, I guess 2 years ago. And we had, I don't know, maybe 40 people out there over the course of 2 days building wetlands for Illinois chorus frogs. There's the
Yeah.
liner that Margot had
Yeah,
mentioned.
there I am. That's me right there, next to, of course, sort of next to you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everyone,
That
this
was
is
really
like,
fun. And
yeah.
so the chorus frogs are actually quite close to the ponds, right? But they're breeding in like the runoff area next to the there's cornfields, right? That's like
Yeah,
farmland.
it's very destroyed agricultural farmland. Yeah, I will all when we're on a break or sometime soon, I'll look up the most recent update, or maybe I'll do that momentarily and see
Yeah.
what
So
exactly is
Kerry,
taking place.
if the frogs are not migrating over there, would you think of moving some eggs and like transplanting them like to the ponds? Would that
I can't remember where the closest frogs were.
They're not far. I don't think they're far. I think that my understanding is that they were actually quite close because of the runoff, the water runoff. So, but I don't know. But in any event, I mean, they're in the area, and the point is the pond was built for, to encourage the chorus frogs.
Yeah.
So would you
Yeah.
think about
Well,
that?
I would be. I guess I'd wonder why, if they are very close, then why are they not going there? Because I would assume they would have arrived if it is truly good habitat.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'd need to get up to date on what's, I'd like to know, like, what's the hydro period? How long is there water there? Is it the depth that it was expected to be? I'm assuming they're keeping the habitat native there, but I'm not really sure what's going on the site. So those are some things I'd like to determine first.
Yeah, so let's do, and you could loop me in. I'm interested to know about that too. Whether it's successful or not.
All right, I do have. Well, I'll read you. It was March that I heard from Steph Beshear, wildlife biologist, Illinois River NWFR Complex. She said, "Hey, Kerry, good to hear from you. We had a few cold snaps this year that made for a later start to the breeding season. This week was the first of the year where we didn't have consistent freezing temperatures at night. Wetlands do have water, and I suspect frogs will have migrated to the wetlands and be calling before the week is out. We have acoustic monitors set up at the wetlands, which will help us detect any species that may be calling in smaller numbers or move intermittently that our call surveys might not capture. The vegetation growth in the wetlands over the past couple of growing seasons has also provided some nice egg-laying areas. Conditions are great. Hopefully we'll see another good year in the wetlands." So that was fairly recently. I mean, she sounds pretty optimistic. I think I'll wait a couple weeks and get another follow-up.
Kerry, how do those acoustics work? Do you know?
As far as recording?
Yeah, I mean, what are the acoustics and how
Yeah, I assume they have some kind of weatherproof call box. Like I've seen an actual like metal box, and then you've got some kind of device inside it. And I'm not sure what they do in this day and age, if they transmit it automatically to somewhere, or if you have to go there and collect the data every now and then. And then it's probably got an audio recording that you can hopefully use software so you don't have to really look at it, and it'll chop out all the nothingness and tell you the exact times that certain things were calling, and maybe the software is good enough that it can actually know and therefore look for the species of interest so that you don't have to do that much.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so but I'm not sure what they're using.
Yeah.
All right,
so
good.
those chorus frogs, I actually never got to see them because apparently they're buried. They bury themselves,
Okay.
most of the time in the sand.
Yep.
So they're hidden.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
Anyway.
good seeing you, and
too.
hopefully you can join another Save the Frogs wetland event and
Definitely wanna do
bring some
that.
friends along.
Yep, this year I'm definitely going to do that.
All right. Happy Save the Frogs Day.
Thank you, Kerry. Same to you.
All right. Let's see what's going on out there. We've got Amya Gomez. Welcome. Hey, we got Unza Wakar from Pakistan, Save the Frogs grantee, Save the Frogs Day organizer. And Unza, if you're out there and want to give us an update, you can do that. Amya, if you want to chat in and tell us where you're located, that would be cool. And everyone out there, I'm happy Save the Frogs Day, and send us in any questions. Hey, there's silence. Maybe I will fill that by all right, we're back. All right, Amya in New York says that she came across our link from a pet shop that enlightened her about Save the Frogs Day. Okay. All right, send my hello to the pet shop. Maybe if they want some Save the Frogs materials to put up there, we can get them some. All right, good. All right, we've got the New York contingent here. We did have somehow some monument showed up in a park in New York City. I saw it like 12 years ago that had something about Save the Frogs on it. Can't remember where it was and didn't mark it in my map, so I never know what happened with it. I never knew how it got there or anything. All right, what now? We never got any feedback from people. People want me to give a presentation. Or I think our two options at this point are I give a presentation or I open up the Save the Frogs website and show you some resources.
Kerry,
yes.
One point of amusement. I'm in my office.
Okay.
And my in the cage where my Aussie tree frogs are. It must be the pitch or what it is. They start singing.
Okay.
So
all right. Were they singing in tune?
They were.
Okay.
The two of them, sort of like a duet between. And they were definitely interested in the music.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey. They may like this. Let me do this. I'm actually going to share sound, which I don't usually do, so I'm not positive that it will work. And let's get the Save the Frogs site up here. All right, hey Jack, can you see the Save the Frogs website showing up here?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, hey, we've got this page, savethefrogs.com/musicians. And Jack, your frogs may like this, and everyone out there too. And some of these tracks are really good up here, such as this one from Hills Morgan in Uganda. Let's see if the sound comes through here. If the sound is not coming through, then let me know. I'll assume it is otherwise.
We are the ones to save this world and its creations. Don't feel shy to tell your neighbors we need their rivers. Don't you know they're dying? Innocent creatures in danger. Let's stick together and save their lives. Save the frogs, save the frogs, save the frogs. It's nice transition, wake up so early to their cry. Save the frogs, save the frogs, save the frogs. Let's join all our hands up together every day. Save the frogs, save the frogs, save the frogs. Let's fix out the science movement. Save the frogs, save the frogs, save the frogs. spread everywhere. The best thing you can do is to save their life. Thank you, Dr. Kerry and everyone. Here's Morgan. I save the frogs. They have life.
All right, did that come through? All right, excellent. All right, a little musical interlude with some African Save the Frogs music. That page is savethefrogs.com/musicians, and we do have some other stuff up there. Some of it's good for kids if you're giving a presentation. All right. All right, thanks for sticking around, everyone. If you're out there and you're a social media user, please go share something about Save the Frogs Day and tag us at Save the Frogs. Mention savethefrogs.com/day. That is our website. Let's actually just go ahead and take a look at that right now. And get planning for the 18th annual Save the Frogs Day. It's going to be on a Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Save the Frogs Day is celebrated annually every year, April 28th. And right here, Save the Frogs Day, we've got lots of resources, how you can organize an event. Register your event. If you have not registered your event, please do so. And once you have all your photos collected, photos, videos, stories, newspaper, press clippings, that kind of stuff, report your event, please. And you can join us. We have a monthly Save the Frogs Day planning session. Meet other people who are organizing Save the Frogs Day events. Get advice on your project. And we've got materials to help you spread the word about Save the Frogs Day. Hey, the brand new Save the Frogs Communications Guide. I'd love for you to read that if you are communicating with other people about Save the Frogs Day. Proclamations. I think we should make that have a big push for next year, such as in Pittsford. The mayor is frog friendly. Let's get a official Save the Frogs Day proclamation. This page right here has tons of info on how you can get your local politicians to officially recognize and announce Save the Frogs Day. Hey, countdown to Save the Frogs Day. We have arrived. Happy Save the Frogs Day. Yeah, so on this page, how to organize an event. Registering your event. Reporting your event. Frequently asked questions. I just added this over the past few months, and I have been adding things to it as new questions come in. I encourage you to look through those. I kind of like it. Nice little drop downs here with lots of info, such as how many photos should I take and submit? What should I do with my event videos? Now that you've organized an event, you may wonder those things. Save the Frogs Day grants. This year we gave out, I think, about $13,500 to 20 plus recipients, and I believe when I announced this event, I promised I would announce the Save the Frogs Day grant winners, so maybe I should do that as of March 2025. So now it's April 2025. This number is probably about $60,000 total dollars in Save the Frogs Day grants that we have given out to event organizers around the world to ensure or to help them have successful, even more successful events. All right, we've got a day all about promoting Save the Frogs Day and helping us spread the word about Save the Frogs Day with downloadable flyers and images and things like that. I wrote this article, I believe, immediately after last year, a brief history of Save the Frogs Day, going all the way back to 2009, and talking about things such as Save the Frogs Day was not always April 28th. Some years it was. For many years it was the last Saturday of April. So if you hear about other amphibian events that are being promoted under different names, and the people are saying it's every year on the last Saturday of April, you can be assured that they're actually talking about Save the Frogs Day, and the name they're using is incorrect. Unfortunately, the name is getting warped through the internet, and people are using all kinds of different names, especially in different languages, which is why, well, here's the official proclamations and how you can get official mayoral or governmental recognition. But that's one reason I created the Save the Frogs Day communication guide, so that we can maximize our impact with messaging guidelines, outreach templates, social media strategies, best practices to ensure clear, consistent, and engaging communication. And we'll see if this page also has, maybe it doesn't, I need to put it on here. I created a page recently, Save the Frogs foreign language translations. You can get to it from here for certain in the communications guide, savethefrogs.com/day-translations. Will get you there if you are promoting Save the Frogs Day in a non-English language. And if you don't see your language up there, then let's go ahead, talk to me, and let's put it up there. How should people write, say, Save the Frogs Day in your language? All right, the story of Save the Frogs Day article from 2009 in Manga Bay is up there. And then we've got links to some past Save the Frogs Day. I'm making it my goal this year to get up. We've got lots of old Save the Frogs Day years for which the pages are not live on the site anymore. They used to be, and we've got pictures going way back to 2009 that need to get back up on the site. Save the Frogs Day articles archive. You can read lots of events that have happened related to Save the Frogs Day. Hey, there's our translations page right there. And hey, if you're out there and you like Save the Frogs and you're feeling charitable, then I encourage you to donate to Save the Frogs. We function at our best, and we only function in the long term with donations. We depend on donations. Your donation would be appreciated. All right. Oh, there's the translations page. All right, that's it. So we've got a lot of resources right there for frog savers. Oh, Margot says the supervisor of the town of Pittsford gave a Save the Frogs Day proclamation 7 years ago and a commendation a year later. All right. I'm assuming then that I have that in my files, but maybe not. But maybe the next time we meet, Margot, have those ready and we can open up the proclamations page and ensure that they get added to that page to inspire future frog savers. Jane, are you out there? It looks like you're unmuted.
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent.
I'm hoping the banners will come back to be available. I'd like to get a banner.
Do you mean a flag?
Yeah, I think I mean the flag, yeah. The Save the Flag, the Save the Frogs flag.
Save the Flags. One like that?
One. Yeah. Yes.
I agree, Kerry. I want one too.
Okay. Well, let's see. Yeah, I have placed 2 flag orders ever. I think one was for 100 flags back in we were in Santa Cruz back then, so it was probably 2010 or 2011. And then maybe we ordered 50 a few years ago, so they kind of sell slow. I give them away to volunteers occasionally too, and we have them up in the shop. And yeah, we did run out, and it would be easy for me to reorder them, so that's a good idea. So let's say, and really the company has the files, so it should be a simple thing to do. Hey, maybe I can start some notes here. Hey, take notes. What do I need to do? I need to order Save the Frogs flags And I'm going to note both of you down
Okay, thank you.
that you should get informed when they arrive. Yeah, they come in handy. I always travel with mine. I was thinking if I download all my photos from today to my computer, which would be fairly simple if I have the cord right here, then I can show you what I did in person. Today we had a very successful event here in Calcutta in West Bengal. Dun, 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 dun. Jane, how did you hear about Save the Frogs, and how long have you been with the organization, we'll say?
Well, I've always, I don't know when I first heard about it, but I do have a Save the Frogs bag that I've had
A tote
for
bag.
a lot of years.
Is it is it blue or green?
It's green. It's dark green.
And it says Save the Frogs real big.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess we still do have, it's possible we still have those on the site. But yeah, we've sold them for 10 years or so. To let you know, we do have, I think it's just savethefrogs.com/bags. But there's definitely, there should be tote bags up on our site. We've got some really cool, these days most of them are handmade with Save the Frogs art from the art contest, handmade in Colombia, and they're very nice. So go check those out. All right, Margot bought the last flag. Uh-oh, Margot's got the last flag. They proudly displayed it all weekend. Thank you, Margot. All right, let's see here. Apologies again for the honking in the background. And I'm going to see if I can quickly get the photos off of my phone from today's event. And there they are. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so this event was organized by Save the Frogs India. Sarbani Nag lives here in Calcutta, current president. Shout out to Krishan Sharma, who is or was on here a little while ago. He was the original president of Save the Frogs India. And here we go. I guess I'll just, I've not even looked at these yet, so my first time looking at them. Let's share this. All right, the day started at 10:30. We met the principal, and she gave us a tour of the school, and I don't have that many photos, but they have this extensive art building where they had a lot of kids doing all different kinds of art in about 10 different rooms, art and music. So here are some looms. And there's the principal, Seema. She helped make it all happen. And visited one of the music classes. They were singing Rag Desh, which, because, hey, I recognized, hey, is that Rag Desh you're singing? gesh for them as well. And met the violinists and the rock and roll class too. And then I was very surprised to walk in. I didn't know what was going to happen. I assumed it was just going to be a classroom of students, and there's this huge auditorium full of kids. And a big screen. The reason we ended up here is because they had a big screen. And there's Sarbani. We had a ceremony lighting of the lamp. So I didn't even realize this thing down there in the flowers was in the shape of a frog. Just seeing that right now. That we were gifted some plants. And so, yes, the reason that we were here is because they have a big screen, and that's Suhas Prem Kumar, filmmaker, and he's been winning awards for his film Little Planet: A Tale of Frogs. And the film, you cannot watch it on YouTube. It's not available. It's going through the film festival circuit, and it's only ever been shown in Bengaluru until today. This was the first time outside of Bengaluru, aside from film festivals. I was gifted that art. Hey, I have it right here. Whoa. There's that. There's my cool frog art. Add an S right there. Alright, some film footage. And then we had a pretty extensive question and answer session afterwards. And some beautiful piano playing from the music teacher. And that is Apurba Banerjee, who is an art teacher at the Rahar Nibedita Art Center in Calcutta, which I visited about 7 years ago. And his students have been involved in the Save the Frogs art contest for probably like 15 years or so, and I was happy that he could show up, and I may visit his school again. And that's a famous Calcutta style taxi right there. And this thing, let me see if I can flip this, rotate. Yeah, Sarbani created these. I was thinking of getting her to make them. We had two as gifts to give out, and I was thinking of getting her to make some of these to ship to America because they're really cool. These are brass frogs that she designed, and there are a couple of these. If you go to savethefrogs.com/jewelry, there's pendants there, but there's only a few of them. There's a bunch of new ones in here, and then I don't know if this is cut out of paper or how that's done right there, but it's a framed thing that looked quite good. All right, that's it. My photos. Everyone else has a ton of photos. I was busy working, so wasn't taking photos the whole time. All right, let's see. We got some new questions coming in. All right, Nancy in Encinitas, California asks, is anyone from India going to be giving a presentation on frogs today, like in other Save the Frogs Day events? Do you mean online or in person, or are there other events going on around India?
No, online. Like before, I think a couple of years ago, there were some Indians that came on and did presentations, like they were biologists.
Yeah, we did have Save the Frogs World Summits a couple of years, which usually have people from India. We don't have anyone set for today. I really my planning for this event was first it's hard for me to make Save the Frogs Day plans for my own event until I know where I'm going to be. So that was about a few weeks ago where Sarbani and I decided, let's do the event. Let's have the film screening in Calcutta, and I'll come to Calcutta. And then once I knew the time for that, then I was able to decide, hey, I've got from 4 to 10 today to do this. And my original thought was to invite some people, but then I didn't have time. There was so much Save the Frogs Day planning, and I was like, I can talk indefinitely, hopefully still keep your attention and make it worthy. I haven't even gotten to my presentation yet, so I think I can succeed in going 6 hours of frog saving. But I could if you want. It's probably up on the site. But I do have, hey, I didn't even give my presentation that was set for the kids today. I didn't even give. I was just like, because they had been watching the film. I'm like, I can't outdo the film footage and stuff. How about I just interact with them, talking and getting them asking and answering questions. But I can open up that. I have a slideshow, brief history of Save the Frogs India. And as far as learning about frogs in India and South Asia, let me show you this. I'll turn the sound off from there, and let's get Save the Frogs Day site back up here. So one thing that I suggest, well, this search bar is incredibly useful, so I know where stuff is, but I still use it for certain things. Just type the word in and it has a high chance of coming up. But I'd start at savethefrogs.com/India. And got some basic info about Save the Frogs India, photo from our 2019 Save the Frogs World Summit that I attended and that Sarbani organized. And here we've got South Asia meetups. I know, Nancy, it usually doesn't take place at a time of day that works for you, but for other people out there, they're usually at 6:30 a.m. Los Angeles time, so that's 9:30 a.m. Washington D.C. time on Saturdays, and there's pretty much a guest speaker every month, and there's been some really good sessions. Just 2 nights ago we had Jayaditya Porkayasta, and I was happy to see him on there because I'll get back to this in one moment, but a shout out to the people who've been around a long time. And let me get rid of that. Yeah, so 2 nights ago we had a guest presentation by Jayaditya Porkayasta, amphibian biologist from the northeast of India in Guwahati, Assam, and we had not spoken in a very long time, but he wrote me in February 2009 and said he wanted to help out, and he organized an event on the first annual Save the Frogs Day, April 28th, 2009. So here's a kid giving some kind of presentation. He told me I only have 2 photos from his event, but he said he's got more. He's going to find them, but this was some kind of photo exhibit that they set up, so I was happy that he is still saving frogs. Now back to the question about India and how can we get some good presentations, and I am happy to talk about some of Save the Frogs efforts in India. But right here, do sign up for South Asia, but the meetups, but also register here and view recordings of past meetups. A lot of them may have gotten moved into the Save the Frogs Academy, but we'll take a look. Yeah, right here, take the India course, okay? and more articles you can enjoy about stuff happening in India, of which you can see there's quite a good amount of it. Hey, there's me at the Rahara Nivedita Art Center long ago that I mentioned, where Apurba, the founder, showed up at our event today unexpectedly. All right, so South Asia meetups. I believe we have some videos. No, they all got moved. So Save the Frogs Academy, go to the India course. You can also go, we've got a Bangladesh course, a Nepal course, a Pakistan course, an India course, maybe soon Sri Lanka, because we do have one video. We had a guest speaker from Sri Lanka. But right in here, amphibian biodiversity in India's rainforest, frogs in northern West Bengal, amphibian conservation in India's western Ghats, brief history of Save the Frogs India, current status of frogs in India, amphibians of India checklist, and I just added a couple cool posters too. So I met a grad student in Hyderabad a few weeks ago when I spoke at the Hyderabad Zoo, and he had created this really cool amphibians poster. It's got a little India focus, but it's good for, outside India too. So that's a PDF you can download and print. I can't remember how big it is, 18 by 24 maybe. And there's frogs and toads of Telangana, which is the state where Hyderabad is. All right, I hope I answered that question. No one is set to give an India presentation. I did invite Sarbani to show up at some point and say hello, but the best thing is to go check out those archived videos and try to make it to a Save the Frog South Asia meetup at some point. All right, let's see. It would be great to have updates on the vernal ponds that volunteers have helped to build on the website. I do try to update them. One of the best pages for updates, we can go to savethefrogs.com/Mexico-wetlands. And wetland restoration in Baja California to save California red-legged frogs. This is a pretty extensive page, and it's got a lot of info, including the plans for building the wetlands. There's Tom Beevikhauser, the wetland guru, who has trained many of us to build wetlands, and he writes very thorough reports before the wetland gets built. And I believe that the report, or multiple reports, for these wetlands are up on the site. Here we have an activity report prepared by Annie, the biologist there who's in charge, showing some updates of what went down there. Save the Frogs has provided some funds for this. And they're continuing. They've built a bunch of wetlands, but they're I think they've got more scheduled for August of this year. And I've got, when people send me updates, I usually put it in here so you can learn a lot on this page. Yeah, follow up December 2021, June 15th, 2023 field report, October 2023 field report. Fundraising update. If you, as you heard from Margot, wetlands are not that cheap to build if you're building big wetlands for certain. Maybe a backyard wetland, backyard pond, depending on size, maybe not too much, but some of these are big wetlands and they're big projects. That being said, the way Tom builds wetlands is probably about 10% of the price of if you actually hired an engineering firm. What he builds for $6,000, an engineering firm would charge about $60,000. So they're relatively inexpensive compared to, the way it's been done. But if you want to donate, you can see some of these things needed $2,500 for a wetland, needed $37,000. This looks like three wetlands and some follow-up monitoring. And let's see. I kind of restarted the old SaveTheFrogs.com/wetlands webpage, but it's definitely not complete with what it used to have. So we'll say it's mid. Well, there's not much there, but what there is a collection of articles across our site where you can learn about different things. All right, Save the Frogs in Pittsford, wetlands in Illinois, creating wildlife habitat in your backyard, constructing wetlands in Tahoe, building frog ponds in Virginia, wetland at a school in Los Angeles, Plumas National Forest, California, Garvey Intermediate School in Los Angeles, UCLA, building wetlands for tiger salamanders, building wetlands in Arizona, and more. Some old articles. An open letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. I wonder if I wrote that open letter. 2011. There's an article that I wrote to them. And why would I have done that? Because there was some frog killing taking place. I'd love an update on this, actually. I rebuilt this page recently. Another page. It doesn't have everything, but it's a start. Save the Sharp Park Wetlands was one of our big campaigns 10 plus years ago. The city of San Francisco is draining the wetlands to create dry land for golf. And when they drain the wetlands and shoot that water into the nearby ocean, the eggs get exposed and die, or the government biologists move the eggs, and where they move the eggs is certainly not as good as where the eggs came from. SaveTheFrogs.com/sharp-park. All right, popping around the website. There's so much on there. And welcome. We've got Ambika Rajput showing up, I think from India, but maybe you can tell us where you're from. Anyone, feel free to chat in where in the world you're at. If you have something you want to say, especially if you're good at saying things concisely. You're hearing that from a guy who's been talking for a few hours now, almost. But especially if you can say things concisely, then tell us what you're up to with your projects. And if you have any questions, let us know. Giacomo Rizzoli, buongiorno. I don't know if you're in Italy or not, but we've got some Save the Frogs Day events happening in Italy. They did not register their event, but I saw their posts on Facebook. I believe the maybe Society of Herpetologists Italianos doing something out there. So if you have some updates related to that, let us know. Rafael Jorge, if you're out there and you want to tell us where you're from, or if you have any questions about frogs, let us know. And happy Save the Frogs Day to everyone. I am Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger. This event started 2.5 hours ago. And I had a 6-minute break in there. And we've been talking about frogs, meeting frog savers from around the world. I believe we've had some people on here from Kenya, India, USA. Where else has anyone else spoken? I'm not sure. Margot, I was not talking about you. You can wander and not be very concise, but I was not talking about you. I think I just have this thing where if you run enough Zoom events, you get to a point where you realize that at some point someone's going to turn their mic on and they're not going to be very concise. And so I just like to put that out there. But I've also found that even putting out a suggestion to be concise does not guarantee the concision, if that's a word, of what happens when someone takes the mic. But hey, we're not trying to scare you off. If you've got something to say, and it's especially if it's amphibian related, then let us know, and that gives me a chance to breathe and relax a bit. Nancy says, have you considered putting Save the Frogs pictures on pillowcases? That would be awesome. I'd like a whole bed sheet set of Save the Frogs, some fun Save the Frogs bed sheets and pillowcases. I have not recently considered that. I'll say I would be open to that. If you have thoughts on how that would need to be, those things come in pairs. They need to be a certain size. Do you know a company that produces them? I could probably figure it out. Is there some kind of particular art or photos that you think would be good on it? Because usually for any kind of new product, like I need a vendor. That may not be too hard, but then I need to know what art is going to go on it, and that can delay the project if I have to think too much about that. But if someone says, hey, this one right here would look really good, then that helps move things along. All right, Jack says small backyard frog ponds are valuable too. Yes, on our site we have. Let me just go ahead and reshare my screen. I like hanging out on the Save the Frogs website. SaveTheFrogs.com courses/wetlands. All of these courses you can get to just by going to SaveTheFrogs.com/academy. Right there. And click through to the wetlands course. And what do we have in here? Vernal pool development and restoration. Wetlands rediscovered. How to build a backyard wetland. Intro to building backyard wetlands. Intro to hydrology and wetland design. Wetland site selection. How to use a laser level. Designing, surveying, and planning a backyard wetland using the liner technique. Building a backyard wetland using the liner technique. How to make your wetland wildlife friendly. How to build a wetland series with Tom Biebikhauser. Build your own wetland with Tom Biebikhauser. Schoolyard wetlands. Wetlands by hand. Sample project design forms. Info on destroying mosquitoes and constructing a healthy wetland that does not have mosquito problems. Cattail control. Wetlands documentary. Tons of stuff in there. And take it a step further. I built an entire website about wetlands, and it's wetlandrestorationandtraining.com. I should probably promote it more. It's not my website. I'm just the, we'll say, webmaster, the creator and caretaker. This is Tom Biebikhauser's website, and there's plenty of stuff on it. Get your free PDF, Wetland Construction Techniques Key, the Wetland Construction Key. He's got books. Margot bought 10 of those books, I believe. Hopefully put them to good use and built. Oh, yes, she did. She built a few wetlands. So if you get the book, you're going to increase your chance of building a wetland. And he's got training opportunities, consulting opportunities. Your organization can host a wetland workshop. Hey, maybe even on Save the Frogs Day. How to build a wetland. Watch the videos. That's where I'd go right there. These, I think he's got a 10 video series right here on how to build a wetland. Quick intro to building wetlands. Wetland types and values. Selecting a location to build a wetland. How to use a laser level and a dual-sided grade rod. Marking the perimeter of a wetland for wetland construction. Digging the test hole. Office identification of possible wetland projects. Wetlands built over 2,000 years ago. Why wetlands hold water and how they were drained. How streams were moved to drain wetlands. Digging deep test holes for wetland design. Wetland workshop. Rough and loosen technique. All right, combined with pit and mound topography, can be used to control erosion and rapidly establish an impressive diversity of native plants within and surrounding constructed wetlands and streams. Wetland construction using the groundwater technique on the Putnam Farm. Groundwater dam construction, compacted clay liner technique for building wetlands. Using aquatic safe liners to build wetlands. Wetland spillway construction, hand cut control for restoring wetlands and streams. Identifying drained and filled wetlands. Logs can keep you from sinking. Impoundment construction and management. Wow, that's a whole lot of stuff. Tom has been adding videos to this page, because it was only about 10 videos when I built the page. So there's a ton in here that I need to check out. All right, well, that's a whole lot of wetland knowledge waiting for people. We've got Mike Horton here on the line, it sounds like.
Hey, Kerry, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear and see. How's it going, everybody? Save the Frogs board
Good.
member and ecotourist Mike Horton.
Yes, I'm up in upstate New York right now with Margaret Fox, we're partnering with the Frog House here and helping them create a project that they've been working on for years, trying to get a wetland complex. Spent the last 3 or 4 days, Kelly and I.
Hi, Kelly.
Working with Tom, in fact. Tom was here and led us through the process of creating 3 wetlands complexes here. And it was pretty interesting. They have a lot of sandy loam soils, so it doesn't really hold water that well. They have much clay, so you use liners, which was the first time that I had used liners on this scale. They're huge liners. We had, over the 3 days, we had about 70 volunteers that assisted, and boy, that was essential. I couldn't imagine trying to do that with just a few. The town, local town here that owns the property, they supplied machinery, bulldozer and backhoe and such, and equipment operators for 3 days. And the equipment operators worked under Tom's direction to dig out the area. And with the volunteers, we spread out fabric, protective fabric, and the liners, and put about 6 inches of dirt on it, and seeded it, and did plantings, and it's pretty exciting. And in fact, one of the things we did towards the end was put a lot of large woody debris, and it looked very much like that picture that you showed, Kerry, at the beginning of your wetlands site. And it has a nice little wetland with some standing water in it, and fallen trees in it. And it looks just like that now, except there's no water yet. So we're waiting for the rain to come and fill it up. So it's been a great time, and it was neat to see some of our grant dollars in action on the ground. You're muted, Kerry.
Thank you so much for the update. I'm glad that you made it up there, and I'm glad it was a successful event. And thank you for your Save the Frogs grant review services. Everyone out there, Save the Frogs has dispersed, I think, about $170,000 in grants to maybe about 95 amphibian conservationists around the world. And Mike assists on the Save the Frogs grants committee. And good. Happy Save the Frogs Day. Anything else you want to tell people, a message for the frog savers out there?
I would say just keep on keeping on, and also keep your eyes out on what's happening with the Federal Endangered Species Act in the United States. Right now, they're trying to make a change, and trying to encourage people to simply request an extension of the comment period. That's all we're at right now.
The change is that they're getting rid of the word harm, or what?
Well, it's changing the definition of harm. So the consequences are that the prohibition against taking individuals of the species is now covered by impacts to the habitat. So if you destroy that habitat that the individuals need to actually survive, that's considered taking. And now with their change, that would no longer be considered taking. So it'd be the equivalent of, you go on vacation, somebody comes and bulldozes your home down, and then when you get back, you have no home, and they say, well, you weren't really harmed because you weren't there. And that's what they're doing right now. So
I'm going to speak over Mike's shoulder real quick, because this is critical when it comes to amphibians that often have like maybe an upland life stage and then one where they go to a pool or a pond to breed. The fact is that if they're not in their breeding habitat, they're upland because it's that time, because of the time of year, their habitat can be destroyed because they're not there. Just like Mike mentioned, the house being destroyed. So it seems to me that it's incredibly critical when it comes to amphibians because they do have very distinct life stages and often have also, when it comes to breeding, very distinct habitats that they use for breeding as to for, sheltering and feeding. So this is really critical for amphibians.
So we put together a QR code actually that people can scan, and it'll lead them through the process to comment, provide a public comment, and also contact senators or representatives if you're in this country. I'll try and get that up in the chat.
Okay, if you hold it up, I'll take a photo of it or put up the URL. And do you know currently when is the comment period closing?
The comment period, the normal comment period for a non-controversial change is 60 days, and for a controversial change, it's 90 days. So with this one, which is an incredibly controversial issue, they made it 30 days, which means I believe it's May 19th is the close.
Okay.
So we're trying to get comments extended to at least 90 days.
All right. If you want, or if you have time, if you could assist me in the creation of a letter on behalf of Save the Frogs, that would help me
absolutely
submit comment.
Yep, I will draft one up in the next couple days.
Okay. And also to let you know, Center for Biological Diversity, I'm sure they're aware of this. They send me letters all the time, like, do you want to sign on to this, of which I almost always do, so that Save the Frogs is a signer on their letter. If you want me to put you in touch with anyone over there, then I can do that, and then you can see what they've got going on related to it if you do want to assist in some other way.
That would be great. I'm in contact with a few organizations, not CBD right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for being here.
We'll get the QR code together and come back to you with that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Ooh.
This is a present from an 8-year-old yesterday.
Okay.
And everyone loves love. And so Michael and Kerry, Kelly, are full of love, and that's what we need to save the frogs.
All right. Good. Thank you, Margot. Margot is an amazing frog artist. We used to have a very large painting of hers, or a reproduction of the painting, up in the Save the Frogs Education Center in Berkeley, California. And since art is being shown, I have a couple things that I was given today and recently. Here's one. Apurva Banerjee from the Rahara Nivedita Art Center here in Calcutta gave me this. And we had this also in the Save the Frogs Education Center. And it's a Save the Frogs, says Save the Frogs right there, piece of art that was submitted to the Save the Frogs art contest over a decade ago by Avijit Saha. And he gave me an update. So Avijit, I assume, was 8 or 9 years old back then, or who knows what, 10, 11, 12, I'm not sure, but Avijit is now a professional artist, has his master's degree in, I assume, art, and has a job working as an artist, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Hey, Kerry?
Yes.
So we have the QR code here.
Okay.
See it? Let's see.
All right. Oh, that's a big QR code. Oh, okay. All right, it worked. It worked right away. All right, save the ESA. Let's save the USA too, but this one is savetheesa.org. It looks like it's just to the homepage, so I'll chat that in right here.
That's right. We just set it up yesterday so that we have a place to send people.
So that's cool. This is your site?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we'll build on that, and so come back, people, and check in regularly. But this will give you the basic information, and I'm still working on it, so it's not pretty, but it will be.
Right. But it's
Good.
set up right now to get that first step of leading people through the process of being able to submit comments.
All right.
Simple.
Thank you so much. All right, Kelly is a fellow webmaster, and it's rare that anyone tells me that they built a website, but that to me is one of the best things that you can do for the environment to communicate your message, if indeed you have a message to communicate, as I do and as I did. SaveTheFrogs.com website I built in 2008, and it's on its fifth or sixth life, we'll say, building with new technologies, and that's helped get the word out to millions, literally millions of people around the world. I could open up the site and check out our stats. I don't look at it too often, but over, probably 2 or 3 million people have visited the website. So if you have an organization, especially, sometimes people apply for Save the Frogs grants and their organization doesn't have a URL or a website. I encourage you to get one, especially if you have an organization. All right, go visit savetheesa.org. That URL is in there. And on that topic, before I show you some of these other cool things that I was just given, I will show you something else on the website. And then I think we should probably, let's say 7 p.m., that's 7 minutes from now, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. We'll take another break. Maybe it'll be a bit longer, and then I can get something to eat, and then we'll be back here. So don't go away, but do take a break. But let's do that in 7 minutes. Right now I'm going to share my screen and come back here, and I'm going to type in USFWS, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and see what shows up here. 12:15. We got 16 articles that somehow relate to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And if you want some, if you're interested in environmental campaigning, environmental legislation, environmental law, dealing with the government to assist amphibians or to prevent the government from doing something harmful to amphibians, I encourage you to come here and check out some of these articles, because I've got lots of letters to the government, and you can read the entire letters, especially if it says comments. We submit comments on things, and this is one of my recent ones from March. I think it's up here. Let's see if I have it up here. There it is, official comment submitted by me to them. Go check it out. And at the bottom of these pages on the site, you can often see the tags. All right, you can click any of these tags. So politicians, if I'm putting up a page on the website that relates to the government, I probably tag it as politicians. I should make a page, but right now, here we are. And all of these articles show up here. So these are highly likely to be things that relate to dealing with the government. And sometimes we're successful on those things. Sometimes we're not. But you got a higher chance of success if you write a good letter, publish it, share it, and show up at the meetings. There was a time where I would go to government meetings on a regular basis. They'll give you 2 minutes to speak at a lot of those public hearings, and you may have to wait there all afternoon until you're called, but then you've got 2 minutes. So, hey, that's a good time to be concise. Be a little bit prepared, have some bullet points perhaps. I try not to read I don't like to read off the paper, but be prepared with what you're going to say and know that you've only got 2 minutes. Start with the most important stuff. All right, good. Stop that share and see who is here. No, Margot, I was not talking about you. Let's see. Welcome. We've got Katie on the line, and Katie has probably sent plenty of letters to the government before. and assisted with Save the Frogs Bullfrog campaign. Katie, if you want to say anything about what you do, your organization, your frog saving experience, your animal, anything about animal ethics and welfare or anything like that, you're welcome to. Or if you just...
Thanks,
Oh,
Kerry.
hi. Yes. How's it
Hi.
going? Happy Save the
Good
Frogs
morning.
Day.
Yeah, happy Save the Frogs Day. Very
Thank you.
exciting. Yeah, I've worked with Kerry a couple times. I am with an organization called In Defense of Animals, and we do some amphibian work. And I actually live in Vermont, and right now we're in the middle of the amphibian migration season. So there are a lot of frogs out there crossing the roads, finding their vernal pools that we're helping make sure they get there safely. So, yeah.
All right, good. Thank you. Let's see. Who else has just showed up? We've got Awal Samir. Awal, if you want to chat in or otherwise let us know where you're at, then you're welcome to do that. If anyone out there has questions, let's see. I said that in 2 minutes we'd take a break because I've been on here since 4. We took a 6-minute break at about 5:12 India Standard Time. And that means I've been on here for about an hour and a half. And we've got another few hours to go. I guess we're at the halfway point. Hey, that's good. Let me spotlight myself and just show you a couple other things I acquired today. That's from Suhas, the filmmaker of Little Planet, A Tale of Frogs, the film that we watched today at our event. Pretty cool postcard, I gotta say. Film premiere. And Little Planet bookmark. Leap into an unforgettable journey where nature's tiniest voices inspire the biggest change. TheLittlePlanetFilm.com. And hey, talking about environmental communications, little trifold. And some pictures of the superstars of the film. These are the species featured in the film. A little bit of frog art that I was gifted. All right, everyone out there, let's see. Oh, well, hello, Awal from Bangladesh. Welcome. There's various events going on this week. Save the Frogs Day events throughout Bangladesh. We gave out grants to who knows how many. Oh, yes, maybe that's what we'll do when we start up again after this break. I said I would announce the Save the Frogs Day grant winners, of which there were probably at least 5 or 6 from Bangladesh this year. We've had extensive Save the Frogs Day activity in Bangladesh going way, way back to at least 2011. That's it. It's 7 o'clock right now. We're at the halfway point of this event. I am Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger. I'm going to leave this meeting on. I'm going to turn my video and audio off and take 10 minutes. And I'll be back here in 10 minutes. We'll do Save the Frogs Day grant winners, and then I will probably open up a slideshow and give a presentation. So thanks, everybody. Go ahead, take this 10 minutes, get on your favorite social media platform, and post about Save the Frogs Day, please. Tag Save the Frogs at Save the Frogs, not that hashtag. The hashtag doesn't do much. Put an @ sign at Save the Frogs, and give a link, savethefrogs.com/day, so people can learn more. All right, I will see you soon.